If it's God's will, it's God's bill. If you know I am not a product of my environment, I recognize my environment, but I'm not a product of it.
No matter what you go through, keep dreaming. Keep going, don't quit, keep reaching. You can be the best you wanna be, gotta believe it. Keep the faith, the mustard seed is all needed. You gotta want it as bad as you breathe.
Top of the morning. Well, welcome into the year 2026. It's January 6th. It's the first Tuesday of the new year. And here we are in episode 1 of season 2 of the Keep Dreaming podcast. If you were with me on last week, I kind of did like a little introduction video, and I talked about that this season is titled The Evolution of the Dreamer. It's time for us to evolve. It's time for us to experience evolution, change, to grow. Who Charleston was in 2025 is not who he is or becoming in 2026. And the same goes for you. But there's one thing that's going to stay the same. I'm going to keep this coffee. I'm going to keep this mug. And so we're going to keep our coffee segments, but I'm excited for you all. I believe that this year, this moment is going to be great. And so wherever you are, if you are in your car, if you're in your home, your office, whatever you're doing, if you got your coffee, you got your tea, you got your water, let's cheers. Now let's open up this episode. So the evolution of the dreamer, evolve. That means this current version of me is not going to be the last version of me if I choose. Now, sometimes you can disintegrate, you can regress, but that's not who I believe you to be. Especially if you're tuning in and if you've been rocking with me from season 1 and now you're here for season 2, you want to grow. And so when we're talking about evolution, when we're talking about evolving, we're talking about becoming a better version of ourselves. God is calling us to become better. We want to be better. There's a version in you that is calling you. I was thinking about this the other day. The dreams that you have, the visions that you have, those thoughts, I believe that that's your future self telling you what's possible, telling you, hey, I'm out here, but you got to come get me. You got to work for me. And so you know it's possible, you know it's achievable, but maybe you've had some thoughts about the environment that you grew up in, the family dynamic that you have, the lack of resources. That's your past. That's your past self. I'm not saying that it's not important. I'm not saying that you can't consider it, but you can't let it define you. I am not a product of my environment. I recognize my environment, but I'm not a product of it. I grew up out of it. I'm a better version. I can dictate, with God on my side, the life that I am projected to have. Now, we understand we're not going to get everything that we desire. That's not how this works. But I don't have to let what happened in my past define me. And neither do you. Yeah, it shaped you. Yeah, it provided some of your traits, some of your qualities, some of your habits. But it should have no bearing on where you're going in the future. You get to determine that. There's a future version of you out there. I believe, I'm a Christian, that there's heaven beyond this life. But I also know that there is one life that I have and I can't squander it. I can't mess around. I got to make the most of it. And so in episode 1, when I was thinking about the title for this episode, I came up with the perfect title: When Life Requires More of You. There are going to be moments where life is going to call your card. It's going to call your phone. It's going to come and knock at your door. And life is just God. God is going to call you. And the answer is, when he calls, are you going to be willing to answer? Because when he calls, you're going to have to give up something. There's going to have to be a greater version of you that is willing to step out there. And the question is, are you going to step? Are you going to get off the porch? We've talked about having these dreams. We've talked about these different visions, but there comes a point in time where you got to get up off the couch. God is going to call you and you got to be able to say yes. And so my prayer is that this episode gives you the courage, gives you the strength, but also gives you the comfort to say yes. And so when I think about these episodes and I'm writing what I want to kind of talk to you about, and God is giving me the message, I always want to come up with something relatable. And so I'm not a big movie fan, but I know there are movie fans out there. Some of my viewers, you all are movie fans. And there's a movie series, Marvel. I know I got some Marvel fans. I like Marvel to a certain extent, but there's a particular movie that I feel like relates to what we're getting ready to talk about. And so in that movie, Black Panther, that's the movie, came out several years ago. The box office went crazy. And it was around like Halloween. People were wearing all types of costumes and all this. But there's a particular scene in Black Panther. T'Challa, who plays, that's the Black Panther character. He's in a fighting scene and he's fighting M'Baku. And in this scene, he doesn't have any equipment on, no costume, none of that. It's just him. And he's fighting with all of his might and he's actually losing the fight. This reminds me of like several boxing movies, fighting movies, all of those different things where you know the outcome, you know the fighter is going to bounce back. But nevertheless, this particular scene, he starts to reflect back on childhood, ancestors, all of these different things, and he finds a deeper version, a greater version within himself. There's a scripture. Greater is he that's within you than he that's within the world. God is in you. He's going to pull out that greater version of you, but sometimes you got to be willing to go to the depth. In that fighting scene, he was fighting for his life. He was fighting for his family. He was fighting for his ancestors. Who are you fighting for? I know who I'm fighting for. So if I know who I'm fighting for, I got to get deep in the trenches sometimes, but there's a greater person that's going to come up out of it because I ain't losing, and neither are you. But in that movie, he found a greater version of it, but he had to give up something. He had to give up his pride. He had to give up whatever he thought. And so when life is requiring more of you, you got to give it up. You got to be willing to give it up. And when I think back on my life, and I think about all the different things that I've been through, my trials, my tribulations, there was a season, it was a more recent season where life required more of me. And it was last year, 2025, August 2025. I'll never forget it. God called me out of my 9 to 5. Now, many may think that that's what I always wanted. And to a certain extent, that's true. 3 years ago, I was building my real estate. God was blessing me to build houses, rent them, flip them. Everything was grand. Everything was going good. And so in my mind, I thought that that was the time that I was supposed to be a full-time entrepreneur. That was the time that I was supposed to branch out. And God didn't let that happen. Rather, 3 years later, when I take on a new job, making the most money I've ever made, that's the season that he called me out. And to be honest, my real estate had plummeted. I wasn't making any money. I was actually losing houses. Nothing was working in my favor. And so when God called me out, yes, this was a dream that I once had, but the timing wasn't right, or so I thought. And so I was hesitant because what it required me to have more faith. It required me to get out of this consistent realm where I knew for a fact every 2 weeks I was getting a paycheck. And now I was going into a season where I didn't know where the money was coming from because, again, my real estate wasn't doing well. And so that was a season, a moment where I had to ask myself, am I going to answer this call? Gratefully, I did. But it wasn't easy. And I know that you're facing something right now, or you're getting ready to face something where God is going to call, and it's not going to be easy to just say yes. Yes, it may be part of the vision. Yes, it may be part of the dream, but the timing of it, or the weight of it, or how it's supposed to happen, or what he's calling you to do. He's calling you to serve this person. He's calling you to take this job. He's calling you to start this business. And you're going to think to yourself, I don't know if it's time. I know I want to do it. I don't know if it's time. I don't know if I have the resources. I don't know if I have the contacts, the finances. We make up all of these excuses. I know I did, but excuses never get you to the door. Excuses never open the door, and excuses for sure don't help you walk through the door. So we got to eliminate the excuses because they don't help. But when I think about a Bible passage to provide a little bit more comfort, it's found in Exodus chapter 3, verses 11 and 12, and there's a famous character that we all know, and he goes by the name of Moses. You see, God had called Moses to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, but Moses didn't think that he was equipped for the job. Moses didn't think that he was good enough for the job. Matter of fact, I got my Bible here, and I read out of the Message version. I'm going to read it to you. It's Exodus chapter 3, verses 11 and 12. And I pray that this provides comfort to you when God is requiring more of you. It says, Moses answered God, but why me? How many times do we ask the question, why? He said, why me? What makes you think that I could ever go to Pharaoh and lead the children of Israel out of Egypt? But then in verse 12, this is where the comfort comes. I'm not going to read the entire verse, just one little line. God said, I'll be with you. That's all you need to know. That's all I needed to know in my season when God was requiring more of me, that he was with me. That's all Moses needed to know, that God was with him. And that's all you need to know, that God is with you. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. Matter of fact, it's going to be hard because you've never been where you're going. I've never been unemployed, full-time working for myself. So of course I was going to have moments of being scared. But I needed to trust that if God led me to it, he was going to see me through it. There are 3 principles that I want us to take away from this lesson. The first, pressure is not punishment, it's preparation. You're not being punished. The pressure that you're feeling is preparing you for the greater version of you, what God is actually calling you to do. Diamonds, they experience pressure in order to become valuable, to be shiny, and to hold, the value that they are called to become. So that pressure that you're feeling, we got to learn to embrace it. We got to change our perspective and understand that this is happening for me, not to me. It's happening for you, not to you. So embrace the pressure. That's going to be the first principle. Pressure is not punishment, it's preparation. The second, if it's God's will, it's God's bill. If you know for a fact God is calling you to do something and he's telling you to do something, you got to know in your heart that it's his part of his will. And if it's part of his will, that's his bill. I ain't got to pay for it. As many things as we got to pay for in this life, if I know that it's God's will, that's his bill that he got to pay. I just pick up the receipt. But that's just a confident piece that knowing that he's going to take care of you. Now, again, we don't know how, but that's for him to decide. And then the third thing, growth requires water and sun. I'm going to say that again. Growth requires water and sun. We love the sunlight. We love to have our shining moment. But the other part of that is that you got to be willing to accept the rain. You got to be willing to accept the storms. And sometimes they hurt. Sometimes when it's raining hard, it hurts. But it's allowing for growth. And so in order to get to the person, the evolution that you feel in your heart, that you know that there's a future version of you that is requiring that, you got to be willing to accept the rain. Now, I got a homework assignment for you. We're keeping that. So I want you to pull back out your journal. I got my journal here. And I want you to write down, what is God requiring of you? What is God requiring you to give up? Those are 2 questions. What is God requiring of you? And what is he requiring of you to give up? Is he requiring you to give up time, comfort, friends, family, your job? I want you to write that down because sometimes we need to see it on paper. Beside it, I want you to write, God is with me. Whatever he's telling you to give up, whatever he's requiring you to let go, right beside it, I want you to write, God is with me. And that's going to be your comfort and peace. Whenever you start to feel that anxiety, whenever you start to feel that stress, I want you to go back, open that journal, look at that page, and look at those words. God is with me. And then we're going to keep moving forward. We got one life. One life. We're in the year 2026. No longer are we allowing excuses to hold us back. We need God to open these doors, but we are not going to keep ourselves stagnant. Every time you come on the TV, you're looking at somebody else's dream. Why not you? Why not now? If God is calling you, pick up the phone. Pick up the phone. I can't tell you that it's going to be easy because it's not, but it's going to be worth it. And so as we begin to wrap up this episode, my prayer is that this week more comfort comes to you when God is calling you and you find the comfort and the confidence to pick up that phone. But the other part about it is that I pray that you just really resonate with this episode and that you continue to stick with me as we move through season 2, the evolution of the dreamer. I want you to subscribe. I want you to like, but more importantly, I want you to share this episode with somebody because I feel like not only is it going to help us, me and you, but it's going to help other people. This gift that God has blessed me with, it's not just for a small portion. It's for everybody. Everybody. Doesn't matter if you're young. Oh, everybody has a dream. Everybody has a dream. And you owe it to yourself to keep dreaming. So we got to bring other people along. I want you to tag people, send it to them, whatever you got to do, text it to them, and let's grow this thing. And so my prayer is that you have a wonderful morning, that you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you back next Tuesday on the Keep Dreaming podcast. So as always, be blessed and keep dreaming.
After you accomplish that one dream, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to God, you owe it to your family to be able to do it again, to dream again. But when you dream again,